Ladies and gentlemen, the wrestling universe has just witnessed something truly historic, an unforgettable, shockwave-inducing night on Smackdown that will be remembered for years to come. Tonight, we didn't just see a return. We didn't just see nostalgia. We saw the rebirth of an era, a story coming full circle in the most explosive way imaginable. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, stepped through that curtain not alone, but with a piece of the past many thought was lost forever. Yes, you heard that right. The lunatic fringe. Dean Ambrose made his WWE return. This wasn't a simple reunion. This wasn't a feel-good moment. This was a statement, a warning. A declaration that the Shield isn't just a chapter in WWE history, it's a legacy still very much alive, dangerous, and ready to shake the very foundations of SmackDown and the WWE itself. So buckle up, Wrestling News CC fam, because tonight we break down every jaw-dropping moment, every emotional reaction, and what this could mean for the future of WWE's blue brand and beyond. Setting the stage, the power struggle on SmackDown. Before we dive into the jaw-dropping reunion, let's rewind and set the stage for this incredible moment. For months, SmackDown has been firmly in the grasp of Seth Rollins and his faction. With Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed backing him up and the mastermind Paul Heyman pulling the strings from behind the scenes, Rollins has carved out a new kingdom, one built on control, power, and ruthless ambition. Rollins calls himself the future, the visionary, the architect of a new WWE. He has been dominant, outsmarting and outmuscling anyone who dared to challenge him. But here's the thing, in the world of WWE, no empire lasts forever. And sometimes, the past has a way of catching up with the present. Enter Roman Reigns. For months, he had been the tribal chief, adorned in gold and commanding respect. But tonight, he was stripped down to basics, not a king in shining armor, but a warrior with a mission. A mission not to protect, but to destroy. The build-up, the moment before the storm. The arena was electric, buzzing with anticipation as Rollins and his faction taunted the crowd, fully convinced that their reign was unbreakable. Then, everything changed. The lights abruptly cut out. The sudden silence was deafening. And then, static, flickering, a sound that only one faction could summon. Sierra. Hotel. India. Echo. Lima. Delta. But this time, it wasn't the usual high-energy call to justice. No. This was darker, heavier, an ominous, remixed version. A call to vengeance. Then, the spotlight hit the entrance. And there stood Roman Reigns. Gone was the gold, the tribal chief regalia. Instead, a simple black shirt bore three words that sent a chill down the spine of everyone in attendance. You can't stop us. The crowd erupted. The unthinkable return of Dean Ambrose. But just as everyone was catching their breath, the arena's speakers thundered again with a sound not heard in years. Dean Ambrose's entrance music. The WWE Universe exploded in disbelief, shock, and pure elation. Out walked the lunatic fringe himself. Eyes wild, mouth curled into a smirk, rocking the same "You Can't Stop Us" shirt. This was no dream. This was real. The man who walked away from WWE, who made a name for himself outside the company, was back. And he was ready. No longer the chaotic, unpredictable brawler of old, but a sharper, fiercer force with a score to settle. The Shield legacy, more than just a faction. To understand the magnitude of this moment, we need to reflect on what the Shield meant, and still means, to WWE and the wrestling universe. The Shield wasn't just three guys in tactical gear running wild. They were a symbol of justice, rebellion, brotherhood. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. Each brought something unique, creating chemistry that electrified crowds worldwide. But time pulled them apart. Rollins turned on the group, setting the stage for decades of rivalry. Reigns became the dominant tribal chief. Ambrose? He walked away. But tonight? That story wasn't over. Tonight, the bond was rekindled, not for nostalgia, but for war. The fallout, what this means for SmackDown. Let's talk about the immediate impact. Seth Rollins' smug confidence shattered. His faction's dominance cracked. The message was clear, the old order is back, and they aren't here to play. Roman and Dean are united, a powerful force ready to take back SmackDown. With Paul Heyman's manipulations now directly challenged, the chessboard is set for a war unlike anything we've seen before. And fans? They're on the edge of their seats. Fan reactions and social media frenzy. The reaction across social media was instantaneous and explosive. Wrestling legends, fellow superstars, and fans alike shared their disbelief and excitement. Many wondered, is this the beginning of a full Shield reunion, including Seth Rollins? Or is this a split, a civil war brewing? Some speculated about how this changes Roman Reigns' character arc. Will he stay a hero, or embrace darker tendencies again? Whatever the answers, the WWE Universe is buzzing like never before. Predictions and the road ahead. Looking ahead, what can we expect? Will Dean Ambrose wrestle again? How will his style and presence shift the dynamics on SmackDown? Is this the start of a multifaceted storyline involving all three former Shield members, friends turned rivals? One thing is certain, this is only the beginning. Roman and Dean's return sets the stage for epic battles, intense promos, and game-changing moments leading into major WWE pay-per-views. SmackDown's power structure has been flipped upside down, and nothing will ever be the same. Behind the scenes, what WWE's creative team has been cooking. Now, let's pull back the curtain and talk about what might be going on behind the scenes. For months, WWE fans have been clamoring for a Shield reunion, but WWE's creative team has been notoriously cautious about bringing it together in a way that feels meaningful, not just a flashback moment. Bringing Dean Ambrose back, especially after his years away, was a massive gamble. It wasn't just about ratings or nostalgia. This was a carefully calculated move to shift the SmackDown narrative entirely. Insiders suggest that WWE wanted a jaw-dropping moment to shake the foundation of SmackDown, re-energize the brand, and create a powerhouse storyline that could carry through the rest of the year and into Wrestlemania season. And based on tonight's reaction, mission accomplished. The psychology of Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose's partnership. Let's talk psychology, because the dynamics between Roman and Dean have always been layered, complex, and compelling. Roman Reigns is the tribal chief. Proud, commanding, and ruthless when it comes to protecting his legacy. Dean Ambrose was always the wild card, the unpredictable, chaotic force who brought a different kind of energy. Tonight, we saw a different Dean Ambrose, focused, controlled, with a purpose. Yet that wild edge still lurks beneath the surface. Together, they bring balance, Roman's strategic dominance paired with Dean's raw intensity. This partnership isn't just physical, it's psychological warfare. And that, "you can't stop us" mantra is a direct challenge not only to Seth Rollins and his faction but to anyone who dares to stand in their way. Seth Rollins' position, is he really the future? Now, we've got to ask the big question, what does this mean for Seth Rollins? He's been the face of SmackDown's new era for months. He's flaunted his faction's strength, claiming to have left his past, and former brothers, behind. But now, his throne feels shaky. Roman Reigns returning in this form is a direct threat to everything Rollins has built. Will Rollins rise to the occasion? Will he try to reconcile with his former brothers, or double down on tearing the Shield apart? Or could this all lead to a massive three-way rivalry that could define SmackDown for the foreseeable future? Paul Heyman's role, the puppet master's next move. Of course, no story involving Roman Reigns would be complete without mentioning Paul Heyman. The mastermind behind the Tribal Chief's empire, Heyman has always been a brilliant strategist. How does he react to Dean Ambrose's return? Will he try to manipulate Rollins and the faction into fighting amongst themselves? Or will he attempt to broker a new alliance with Roman and Dean? One thing is certain, Paul Heyman's presence means the chess game has only just begun. Expect layers of mind games, shifting loyalties, and strategic betrayals as the weeks unfold. The fans' emotional roller coaster, why this matters. Let's talk about why this moment hit so hard emotionally. Wrestling is storytelling at its core, characters, rivalries, redemption arcs. Dean Ambrose's departure years ago left a void. Fans saw him as the heart of the Shield, the unpredictable force who brought raw emotion and chaos. His return taps into nostalgia, yes, but more importantly, it delivers closure and new possibilities. Roman's transformation from the Golden Tribal Chief to this stripped-down warrior is symbolic, a man willing to fight not for the throne but for his legacy. It's storytelling at its finest. What could this mean for Wrestlemania? Looking ahead to Wrestlemania season, already the most anticipated time on WWE's calendar, this reunion could shake up the card in massive ways. Could we see a Shield triple threat match? Or a tag team showdown that pits these forces against Rollins' faction and perhaps even other emerging stars? The possibilities are endless, and the stakes have never been higher. Smackdown just became the most exciting WWE brand to watch heading into the biggest event of the year. Highlighting key moments from tonight's segment. Before we wrap up, let's break down some key moments from tonight's segment that will no doubt be replayed for years. The moment the lights went out, building tension perfectly. The remix Shield theme, crafting a darker, more ominous tone that set the mood. Roman's entrance, minimalistic, powerful, and defiant. Dean Ambrose's music hitting the arena, the single loudest pop of the night. The exchange between Roman and Dean, smirks, nods, and the unmistakable bond rekindled. Seth Rollins' stunned face, finally realizing his empire isn't invincible. Final predictions and what to watch for next week. In closing, here's what to watch for next week on SmackDown. How will Seth Rollins respond? Expect fiery promos and possibly a direct challenge to Roman and Dean. Will Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed take a more prominent role in the brewing conflict? What surprises will Paul Heyman unveil? Will he bring new allies into the mix? This night wasn't just about bringing back a legend. It was about rekindling a flame, a reminder that the greatest stories in wrestling aren't just about the present, but about honoring the past, learning from it, and fighting harder than ever before. Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose didn't just come back to WWE. They came back to remind us all why we fell in love with wrestling in the first place. Brotherhood. Betrayal. Revenge. Redemption. Here on Wrestling News CC, we'll be tracking every development, breaking down every match, and bringing you all the inside scoop on this new chapter in WWE history. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell because you won't want to miss what's coming next. Until then, stay tuned, Wrestling News CC fam, because the Shield is back. And they're unstoppable. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.